Hey everyone, it's Doc Fire. We're here for the fourth installment. I thought the third would be done of the new ShockTech Gunfighter frame. And real quick, this last weekend I went and played at Davis Paintball Park there, just out of Davis, California, near Sacramento. And they had their big game. And I saw Tim Furpro there, and a few other guys from Custom Cockers. Another guy was there, had the Gunfighter frame too, and on a really nice flame anode free throw cocker. Really nice. But I have some updates today, and I kind of want to talk a little bit about how well this performed. And I say how well it performed flawlessly the whole day. I had no velocity issues, no chopping issues, no short stroking issues. Actually, when I got used to the trigger, it shot very fast. I could snap shoot very fast. I could snap shoot like it was a hinge trigger, so if that puts anything to equation. And probably the only complaint I had is, the spring is a little stiff and my finger got a little tired, but the reality is it's not really a complaint. That's probably me just being, fat and lazy and haven't played paintball for a while, so I'm sure a little bit of conditioning will help that. But everything else is great. I don't know if I mentioned in the last video or not, but I've measured with a Delrin indicator the total travel of this trigger, and it is a 60,000th of an inch, which equates out in millimeters to 1.57 millimeter pull. And I have not changed it. I played with that way. There's some extra paint on the gun, but I played with that way with that 1.57. It would say a 1.6 millimeter trigger pull. I played the whole day with that flawlessly, and was chronoing fine. So with that, I have a special product that I'm going to introduce as an update to the frame. And it's not a ShockTech product, it's from another company, and we won't go into that quite yet of who's manufacturing these, or will be, but they're coming. There we go. It is a Delrin trigger plate for the ShockTech Gunfighter, and this thing weighs nothing. I mean, you well know how much light Delrin is, and so the goal here is to make reduce that mass that's going back and forth, and then provide a very nice glide surface, kind of a pre-polished, I guess. And it's a very just nice lightweight, so trigger, very snappy. So this video is going to have the installation of this trigger frame and then a little performance, see how it works. Alright guys, be back. Alright, I'm back, and I have the factory plate out in comparison with the new Delrin plate, and let's look at some of the features on this plate. One noticeable thing, it has a relief cut out of the center here, and that's to reduce the glide friction. So you only have these contact patches on the top and bottom. These holes don't represent anything except they were mounting holes for machining purposes. It has a oval hole here in the center, which is, if I match up to the other frame, it looks like it's about the same width as the other one. But the thing that's really nice, if you notice, it's got a little set screw back here, and that screw is to allow you to tighten that hole up, so you don't have to mash your trigger plate and or not your trigger plate, your three-way actuating rod. You don't have to, if you want to take that gap that's out of there, that little bit of slop, you can adjust that screw down just to tighten this hole up a little bit, which is nice. The surfaces on it, on the bottom, get in the light there. Nice. These are all the glide surface up here. All nice, very clean machining. I don't see any machining marks at all. It's essentially the same shape, so your trigger shoe should be able to slide right on there, no problem. Yeah, fits perfectly fine. So that's good. The other thing it comes with, or at least mine did, it came with 2 new glide screws, and instead of using the brass tipped, which are, you have to do some work on those brass tips. They're a square tip. You have to do some rounding over. It comes with these two, I think they're the 8/32, and if you look at that, they are domed and highly polished, very smooth, and when you roll them against the bottom, they're just a nice smooth roll, so I'll replace those. So relief cuts on the side, an adjusting hole for your timing rod to take up any slack there, fits the factory shoe. All the glide points are highly polished and no milling marks. And for a weight comparison, I don't think I have a scale around here. I don't. I mean, this is a piece of stainless steel. It's a good, high quality stainless steel. And remember, mine has been polished already, so you have that weight there. And this is basically feels like a handful of zip ties. You know, nothing. So I'll go into the installation here in a minute. All right. All right, back, and it's installed. Bring it up here. Show the trigger plate in there, and worked very well. I wasn't really able to try out the adjusting screw for the hole diameter because I already have a flattened throughway rod, but I just backed it out so it wasn't interfering with the hole, and my flat throughway rod fit perfectly in there, so it tells me it's the same diameter across as the factory plate. So it's installed just by basically backing off the forward travel screw, and the rear travel screw is backing those out of ways, taking the trigger shoe off, and then what you do is you tilt this out the front, and then it pulls out. So in here, after you release those things, this will pull back and tilt out and come straight out that way. And then the new Delrin trigger will go in exactly the same. So all in all, with the new glide screws in here and this Delrin trigger plate, very smooth. When I pull it back, it's like butter, just very butter, very snappy. It's still quick response. I think it feels, the spring pressure feels a little bit lighter, just due to the mass, the weight that you have to move back in here compared to this very light mass. It feels lighter. It feels very good, and it shoots outstanding. Okay, so I'm able to rip stuff off of this. So anyway, stand by. I'm not the manufacturer of these. I got a early version, and I'm sure there'll be some tweaks and stuff like that on it. But the new Delrin plates you should be seeing those hit the street here within the next month, I would imagine. And then I'll make an announcement, or the manufacturer will make an announcement, whoever's making it. So anyway, that's it. Down and dirty videos of Doc Fire, ShockTech Gunfighter frame with the Delrin trigger.